Summer Kilphe is easily the most prepared summer unit in War of the Visions. She has a parasol in case the sun is too bright and a shawl to put down in the sand when she's ready to take a break from swimming. But beach readiness aside, is she going to be worth your time and your Visior? Especially because we have the mystery Summer El Sorel and the FF7 collaboration coming up. So let's take a look at her kit and find out. Summer Kilphe is coming out this week with non-limited unit Velric, and that's a deviation from the JP schedule. Velric was supposed to come out with a Dark Time Mage, and because they've been split up, we can imagine that maybe that Dark Time Mage is going to come out with Summer El Sorel either next week or possibly on the other side of the FF7 banner. But for now, let's take a look at Kilphe and figure out if she's any good. So she is a brand new limited unit. She has a new axe-wielding main job called Strider, and she's 90 cost. We also know that she's a light element unit. Her sub-jobs are Soldier and Thief, and she can equip Helm and Cloth similar to the Viking job. So her master ability is going to give you that standard light attack up and that HP up for light units. It also gives Kilphe 10 spirit and 5% attack. So the spirit is going to be a theme in the kit here that we'll see time and time again. Her TMR is an accessory that anybody can equip, and it notably has 5 agility and 8 spirit, and I'm unaware if there's any other TMR that gives agility and spirit at the same time. That's pretty cool just right there. But then it has this active ability that has 2 uses, so across 2 battles in guild battle or just a long battle or something, and that ability is going to restore AP, and it's also going to grant shell to the user. So this is an incredibly useful TMR for anybody that wants to take a hit from Helena or any other magic attacker, and you don't have to sacrifice equipping an agility TMR, especially on a slower, maybe like a tankier unit. This is really powerful. Shell is very hard. You can't get rid of it. So this TMR is a really big deal and a massive reason to pull for her. Summer Kilphe is going to be a melee attacker that can stack a large attack stat and then decimate her opponents. All the while, she's going to be inflicting status effects such as Frostbite and Slow, and she can also raise the spirit and magic resistance of both herself and her allies, making her a possible counter to Helena, Black-Robed Witch. Kilphe gets a healthy amount of HP at level 120 at around 4k, and her spirit sits at 16 base, including her master ability. Her agility is solid at 64, and while her attack looks lower at 494, she actually gets self-sacrifice for a 60% attack boost, as well as a TP skill that will increase her attack by 40% during battle. So Kilphe should actually be a powerhouse that cranks out some serious damage. And if you want to compare whether you should take her to 115 or to 120, we can take a look at the stats. Kilphe is going to get a further 430 HP for going to job level 25, and she doesn't really get much of any other stat. So if you are interested in leaving her at 115, you could save yourself some Visior and just slow build her from there. However, you will miss out on one of her highest potency attacks that also has a 40% drain on it and a 40% defense penetration buff. So that's a significant attack, and I think it's something that you're probably going to want to go for. And I feel like I'm saying this more and more, but you're going to want to take Kilphe all the way to level 120. Kilphe has a 10% weakness to dark, as well as her innate weakness to dark attacks. However, she's also going to be innately strong against dark units with her light attacks. Her damage type resists look pretty good as well, but keep in mind they're all going to have 8% subtracted from them if you decide to use self-sacrifice. As per usual, we'll look at slash and magic resists first, and they both look great at 10 and 15% respectively. Kilphe is weak to strike and missile by 5%, and we do expect to see Frederica and Ranger Cloud teamed up in the near future, so that missile resist paired with the negative 8% from self-sacrifice could be an area to exploit if you're looking to kill a Summer Kilphe. Kilphe's magic resistance is solid, and remember, we can raise it by 20% in battle using a TP skill. Kilphe's status resists are 50% to charm and 50% to sleep, and then a 10% to disable. Now that 10% disable resist is one of the better 10%, because until Velric comes out, which is right now, most disables are actually a 25 base chance, so that takes it down to 15. Now Velric has a 67% base chance disable on his limit burst, so that's going to be something something that's impactful if anybody were to actually pull him. But otherwise, for all these Monts and these Dwaynes running around, we can resist disable a little bit better using that 10% disable resist. Let's talk about Kilphe's kit next, and we're mainly going to be focusing on her new skills. So for her passives, they're pretty straightforward. You're going to choose 2 of Wild, Instinct, Thief Lore, and Self-Sacrifice. And if you want to be more tanky, then Self-Sacrifice is your obvious cut there. So the new passive for the Strider job is called Wild Instinct, and it gives 25 accuracy and 40 defense penetration. So this seems like a really good choice to just always have on. So personally, I'm going to use Wild Instinct and Self-Sacrifice unless a map calls for extra move, and then I'll use Thief's Lore and figure out what I need to cut. For counters, Kilphe is going to get a 20% proc, 30% all damage reduction, and that's the counter to take. You just want to put that on. And it's kind of a shame that they need to stick this counter on so many units. Everybody is getting this, or like the physical or the magic version, and it just like shows that, you know, units need a lot of survivability to do what they need to do. Otherwise, they're just going to be one-shot by a lot of other units. But yeah, no, that's the one to take. Looking at the Strider main kit now, we have Mizuchi Entanglement. This is going to be Kilphe's bread and butter small potency skill with an impressive 5 range and a 25% chance to inflict slow. So slow is such a powerful stats effect. That is really big, and she's going to be using it all the time because of the range, because of the AP cost, and because of the short range of Kilphe's other moves. I think we're just going to see this skill all the time. So raise her faith to 97% for the greatest chance to inflict slow on your opponents. We also have Amulet Fang, which is an incredible team buff. It gives 40% attack, 15 spirit, and 20% magic resist to Kilphe and any adjacent allies. So this is a must cast pretty much every battle because it's not just a defensive buff, it's also an offensive buff. If you have more people that use the attack stat, you want to have this cast. So Kilphe needs to be EX job level 22 to get the magic resist buff as well, but you're obviously going to be doing that since she's limited, and this will be a really solid setup to take on Helena or any other magic based attackers. Frozen Axe is a 165 potency cross-shaped AoE that has a 25% chance to inflict Frostbite to your targets. So Frostbite is going to stop the targets from generating any AP, but it's also going to drain their AP per turn, kind of like a poison effect, but for AP. So if you take Kilphe to job level 19 for her EX jobs, then Frozen Axe is going to have its AP cost reduced from 22 to 18, and it's going to cast Regen on Kilphe. So it's another skill that's it's a hallmark of her kit. It looks incredible. The fact that she's going to have all of this magic resist spirit, she can take some hits and not die, and then she's going to have her drain attack that we'll look at later, and the Regen to kind of heal herself back up. Wild Liberation increases Kilphe and any adjacent allies accuracy by 30, and it's also going to give Kilphe 30% slash resist penetration. This is a really great follow-up to Amulet Fang, as slash resist is very common. Kilphe also gets Tornado Breaking Shield, which is a 200% swipe AoE that breaks physical barriers. It's always really good to have these on the kit, and it's all the more better for killing Helenas as she does apply a barrier to herself. And then finally we have Kilphe's job level 25 skill. It's called Black Panther Piercing. I'm not sure that that's going to be what the English translation is, but this is also a 200% potency attack with a 40% defense penetration that applies to the hit, and it absorbs 40% of the damage done. So between this and the regen, or yeah, I said it right there, regen, okay, now you don't have to comment on this video, from Frozen Axe, then Kilphe is going to be a self-sufficient bruiser. You know, at least when she's taking magic damage, she's going to be able to heal herself back up. I'm not that impressed by the Strider sub-skills. Wolf Claws is a 2-hit attack for chaining, and she has a barrier break, so it's not like you can use this to just take 2 hits off of a barrier. You really just want to use this for specifically for chaining. So useful to have, but I don't see a use for it as much in autoplay. Tiger Bite is the same range, AoE, and potency as Frozen Axe, but it costs more AP, and it just has a attack magic break. Now, I've tested the attack magic breaks, and damage-wise, I don't think they're as powerful as what Frozen Axe does, which is again Frostbite and regen and all this other stuff. So while the sub-job doesn't look that useful here, the rest of her sub-jobs don't look that useful either. So, I mean, it's really a toss-up what you're going to use. I'm personally going to be using Soldier. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but I think if you do use this sub job, that you'll want to turn off Tiger Bite. As for the other sub jobs, there's not a lot to talk about. So Thief sub job has Mug, which is very cool for farming turtles. We don't have Sneak Attack, but that's more of a manual skill anyway. You don't really use that unless you're going for evade. Then you would use the Shadow Cast. But I also wanted to mention that the Soldier sub doesn't have Hazard Break. Now this is actually a shame, as it would have been Kilphe's largest potency AoE. So her potencies for her AoEs are 165, and if she wants to get up to 200%, she has to use much closer range skills, and then that is kind of a weakness in a way. So I understand they didn't want to give her that much power, but it obviously would have been pretty huge to have the ability to do this massive AoE attack and then be able to heal the 25% damage you take from her regen and from her absorb skill. So I'm still going to use the Soldier sub job with her purely because it has Hazard Spin. That's also going to be just the super high potency attack, but you're going to want to turn off other skills like Paralyzing Edge or whatever it's called, because her main kit is going to handle everything. You don't even want to use the Hazard form for the attack boost, because you want her to use, she already has 2 incredible TP skills on her main job plus her TMR, so it's going to be tricky for her to use everything. I mean, really, it's just her main kit does it all. Summer Kilphe's Limit Burst is the typical 200% potency with a higher AP cost at 43, and it has a 38% light imperil. So that's fantastic. It's going to be really great in these monolight parties that you can imperil a tank and then just beat up on them. The one thing about this LB is that the range is very small. It's only 3 squares away. So that coupled with the AP cost, like it's definitely something that I don't think we're going to see a lot of, or if you want to be using it, then you're going to want to have bells on, because Kilphe is going to be charging up AP and then just firing off her little attack that has that super far range. And I think you want her to be using her other skills that have AoEs over using this most of the time, especially if you're not using her in a light party. But it's never bad to have an Imperil LB because it's there for you in manual, and it's there for you when you have the specific composition that's going to take advantage of it. Compared to other attack-based units, Summer Kilphe should be able to stack one of the highest attack values around, and her access to defense and slash resist penetration are going to make her self-sufficient in a non-slash focused party because she can break through the things that are stopping her damage. So Kilphe is actually going to have higher attack than Cloud, and I think that she'll have more utility through her stats effects, her barrier breaks. Cloud has a barrier break on his LB, but Cloud's going to have greater defense penetration. He's going to have tons of crit, just tons and tons of crit, and Kilphe doesn't have any crit. He has slash resist breaks, which will just be beneficial to him and the rest of his party, and he also has multiple attack types. So I think Cloud also has general survivability because he can stack 35% AoE resist. He's got good resist in general, and Kilphe is really more focused towards magic based damage. So versus magic teams, I think Kilphe is going to perform better than Cloud, but overall I think Cloud is better than Kilphe. So I'm happy to like talk about this more, so if you want to chime in via the comments below, please go ahead. But if you're looking at picking Cloud or Kilphe, unless you're specifically looking for an anti-magic bruiser, someone that can take out Helena, then you could just wait for Cloud, and he's going to be just have a really cool kit as well. Let's talk pros and cons for Kilphe. So her pros are that she has very high attack power, her high spirit and magic resist are really going to help with Helena. That's what I'm looking most forward to. And then she has a good starting point for slash resist as well. Of course that goes away when you equip the self-sacrifice, but what are you going to do? And then access to defense penetration and slash resist penetration is a must these days. She also has very impactful stats effects. Both slow and frostbite are amazing. And she's not going to need bells to get AP because she's going to have these team buffs that she'll cast probably multiple turns in a row. If she moves and casts one and then she's moving up, she'll cast another. And I think you could use Miraga's TMR, the axe that has that initial starting AP, to help her out in that way too. So that's really going to give you more flexibility to give bells to somebody else. So the cons is that she only has access to slash attacks, and aside from Mizuchi Entanglement, she doesn't really have a lot of range. and the no defense stat on her equals a problem with dark slashers. So even with 10% slash resist, or maybe it's 2%, even if you build that slash resist, maybe you need to use Demon Wall with her so she has 25% slash resist, and then whatever, it gets like 10 or 15% dark resist, because otherwise she's gonna have that innate weakness to dark, and then these big slashers like Dwayne that can break slash resist and just really mess her up without any defense. You also don't have a lot of flexibility with Kilphe. She's just going to do what her main kit does. Her sub jobs don't really do much, although they do provide her with some really solid passives. Their actual skills, they're not remarkable. And then the weakness to missile, it's small, but I think it could be an issue if you don't address it. I think this is more of a meta problem, but if we see this Cloud Fred team coming up, then they might be able to pick on Summer Kilphe if you're not actually focused on her missile resist. And again, she doesn't have any defense or anything, so you'd have to build for that. So at this point you're wondering, should you pull for Kilphe? And it's a very difficult question to answer. It really depends on your Visior, what's in your box, and the banners that we're going to be getting. If you need a big physical attacker, especially a magic resistant one, then go ahead and grab her. If you're going to put her in a mono light party and take advantage of all the different unit attack resist and the slash resist from all the different cards that you can put on that basically makes you a beefy party, then again, she's going to really fit in well there. But if you're doing fine in the current meta and you don't feel like she's going to improve your chances against Helena or any of these other units that we're fighting right now, then don't pull for her. She's not going to bring anything vital to combat future units from FF7, from the FF15. She's just strong against Helena and other magic damage dealers, and they're not going away, but you don't need her to counter anybody from FF7. So I think that there's some wiggle room there if you are looking for a reason to skip her. I personally am going to be pulling for her, and it's because I do need an answer for Helena. I absolutely love her TP skill that is going to be buffing Spirit and Magic Resist. I love her TMR, and I think that is going to outlast her. I think that TMR is something I'm going to be using for a long time to come, so I'm very excited for that. And most importantly, I need to use a triple axe party with Durando, Moraga, and Summer Kilphe. So we're going to make the dream happen as soon as possible. And that's going to be it for this video. Hope it was useful for you. If it was, you can let me know in the comments below, and you can also join us on Discord. The link for that is in the description box. And then consider subscribing to the channel so you can see all the upcoming content that I'll be putting out. And then otherwise, I'll see you in the next video when I talk about Velric, who I'm actually really excited about. I like him a lot. It doesn't mean I'm going to pull for him, but I like him a lot.